A play by Greg Henderson stepping up, and so the punt team comes on as it's 3rd and 20.
You know, too many men penalty is just something you have not seen from Calgary. 3 penalties in the first quarter is a surprise too. Couple drop balls, just not quite that same dominant start that we've seen from the Stampeders the last 4 or 5 weeks, and pretty much all year.
So here's Maver, averaging 47 yards a boot. Logan, that is 26. And he is contained just beyond the 30 with a flag on the play. We'll sort that out when we come back. Just 1-0. Stamps with the lead. Cup continues Friday. Ticats take on the Red Blacks. Rematch of what was a terrific game last night. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, across the TSN network and in 4K.
Great game with a controversial call. It was a challenge on a fumble or no fumble. Turned out to be ruled as an incomplete pass, which was a mistake by the replay official.
Gato looks one way, throws low the other way. BJ Cunningham was there. Calgary signaling no catch, and I think they're going to mark it as a reception for Cunningham.
I talked to the league office and said it was a mistake, which happens, but we'll see if this is a catch or not. You have to tell from that angle if he got his hands underneath it or not.
And the challenge now does come up. Wondered if Dave Dickinson would challenge a 5-yard gain.
A little surprised at that, really. In the first quarter, a 5-yard gain on first down. And he, you know, it didn't look, it looked like that ball skipped.
Calgary is challenging the rule on the field.
So I guess if you know or you're very confident that you're going to win the challenge, that ball bounced, and he was right in line to see it. So if you, I guess if you're completely convinced you're going to win the challenge, why not? But
Dave 3 for 11 in challenges this season, so he'll be 4 for 12. Is it worth it on a 5-yard gain? Maybe he senses his team is a little slow out of the gate and get Montreal into 2nd and 10 and get the football back as soon as possible.
After review, the ruling on the field has changed. It's an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
Well, Dave Dickinson wouldn't have challenged. I think Kim Murphy said the ruling stands. I think they ruled it a catch. He challenged it and won the challenge. So it will be 2nd and 10.
And Cato 1 for 4 early.
It works if he gets the defensive stop right here. Gets good field position on the punt.
Here comes the heat. Quinn Smith puts on pressure, and Cato just throws it away. So Micah Johnson has a couple of sacks now. The other defensive tackle, Quinn Smith, applying pressure. And we've got a Calgary injury. And it's Duron Mayo who's been shaken up. 5-year veteran. Probably doesn't get enough attention for how well he has played through the last few seasons.
He was scraping to the football, trying to get there to the screen where Rakeem Cato was trying to set up the screen. He's right in the middle of your picture here, and he's going to try and flow this way to the back, and Rutley out of the backfield. And as he flows over there, he's going to get grabbed. Twists funny, and then I'm not sure if it's his left or right knee or lower body, certainly, but
well, with 3 games left in the season, this is the most important thing Calgary trying to avoid, but Mayo shaken up. We'll be right back. Full Calgary medical staff on the field. Duron Mayo in obvious discomfort. The cart has been brought out to help get him off the field. Our production crew spent some time with him yesterday. So impressed with his quiet leadership skills and how valuable a guy he is to Dave Dickinson's defense.
Oh, absolutely. That's why off the top we were talking how he may be one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. I mean, he just quietly leads his team in tackles. He quietly leads from that linebacking core, not just the defense, but the entire team. This is
3 straight 7 tackle games coming into today. And take another look. It looks like Jaguar with a hook that
illegal block
helped twist the knee, and
that is not called.
Fifth-year man out of Old Dominion. Back up at that position is another fifth-year CFLer, Glenn Love, who has been one of their leaders on special teams, but likely will be called upon to fill a very big hole in this Calgary defense. I think he'd trade 16-1-1 to have a guarantee that he doesn't lose anybody else.
That's the balancing act I talked about off the top, Chris. It's going to be a difficult one for Dave Dickinson. I mean, he wants to play with great intensity. You know, the fans pay money too, and they want to see the guys, the stars, and they want to make history. Want to be the best, win every game. That's the winning culture that they built here in Calgary since 2008 when John Hufnagel came back from the NFL. I mean, they have built that winning culture here. They want to keep it going. Good sign that he's able to wave. They've stabilized it. We won't try and guess on how bad it is, but
you see the emotion of a guy who knows his season's in jeopardy.
Hopefully there's enough time until that West final that Duron Mayo will be able to come back. But again, you thinking about the front runner for MOP at quarterback in Bo Levi Mitchell. How much do you play him in games that don't change your position in the standings?
Problem for the head coach is somebody's got to play.
Yeah.
Boris Beatty, pressure on, gets it away. Here's Jamal Nixon, and this skips by him. He won't get a hand on it. So Beatty with a good kick, and Calgary back at their 20 on that long boot by Boris Beatty. Oh, there's another guy. Do you ride the go train with Jerome Messam for very long?
Well, that's a big question, because I remember him coming out of that Toronto game and reading that, you know, Messam was banged up a little bit after getting to the 1,000-yard mark in the win versus the Argos. Rest day this week in the work week, so
inside handoff. Messam not going anywhere. Came into the game with a 172-yard lead in the rushing derby.
Meanwhile, the Alouettes are still in the hunt. I mean, they're still trying to hang on to hope that they could sneak in.
Well, if this is a 4-round prize fight, all of a sudden the challenger, the underdog's right in it through the opening round.
Yeah, no question. Based on the last few games in the first quarter for Calgary, big time.
2nd and 8. Little dump pass over the middle. Catch is made by Daniels. Ramon Taylor with the tackle. And the punt team will have to come on, so that Alouette defense that can be stingy, 6 times they've allowed 20 points or less this year, have sent the Calgary punt team back out.
Yeah, amongst the leaders against the pass on defense. Their defense has played well all year, and you know Bear Woods is fired up to contain, at least try and contain, Jerome Messam in the run game. That's been a bit of an issue for the Montreal defense. They've given up some run yards, but you know they're fired up and ready for that challenge in Messam tonight.
Logan awaiting at around the 38. Maver makes him backpedal 5. And here's Logan trying to get outside, but Shaq Richardson having none of it and bringing him down around the 33. Prior to the game, we talked to Coach Jacques Chapdelaine about embracing the challenge of facing the best.
This is the team that you want to do it against. You know, it's a road game. It's a terrific team right now. They're doing really well. And at the same time, I think that in a strange kind of way, there's really no pressure on us. People have discounted us in a certain way. And at the end of the day, we believe in ourselves. We believe in what we can do. And you know, the guys basically are in a terrific position to be able to prove that to themselves and to the rest of the league.
There's the former Stamp Nick Lewis with his first catch back at McMahon. I think the only thing Jacques Chapdelaine was missing was John Hupnagel's line. We've got him right where we want him.
Exactly.
Well, they're in a position through 15 minutes as they hold the high-powered Calgary Stampeders to a single point. 1-0 after one quarter here at McMahon. How explosive they had been in the first quarter, not so much, although the defense held up their end of the bargain for Calgary.
You know, it's really tough. You're trying to keep that same level of intensity, but really, how can you? It's human nature, and the Calgary Stampeders got off to a slow start. That's not normal offensive numbers for Calgary in the first quarter.
Although the defense did its job, and if Montreal is going to provide the upset today, they've got to do better than 9 yards in a quarter.
Well, that's the question. Can Montreal take advantage of this slow start for Calgary? Because you got to believe that it won't last long. Dave Dickinson will remind them that they've got to play at a higher level than the level they've been playing at all season.
Short yardage here as they sneak ahead and try and move the chains.
Well, you're right. I shouldn't, you know, it was a slow start for the offense based on what they've done this year, and their defense not necessarily. Rakeem Cato took a deep shot a couple of times in the first quarter, both to Duron Carter, both incomplete. And just at the end of that quarter got Nick Lewis involved. By the way, still a fan favorite here in Calgary.
Nick Lewis Nation.
Yes, absolutely.
First down, Cato hands off and a big hole for Rutley at a run for close to a first down. Looks like he should have it, but got the worst of the collision at the end of it.
Yeah, I was going to say that was some kind of collision.
He hit a wall.
Sure. The number was that Glenn Love coming back and stepping up and filling in for Duron Mayo and getting things going right out of the gate.
Yeah, Jagarrett Davis involved as well, but it's Love who takes Mayo's spot, and he lets the Alouettes know that there won't be any drop-off out of UCLA. 17 special team tackles. He's been the leader in that department, and now getting a chance to play regularly on defense. And Rutley's still not up, so Logan will likely have to handle the rushing duties. Terrell Sutton not in the lineup. And while Sutton gets attention, we'll step out again 1 minute into the second quarter here in Calgary. iHeartRadio is available now. Over 200 stations of free streaming music. Download the app today. So Rutley helped to the sidelines after a first down run. And it is Logan in the backfield. Back-to-back first downs for the first time. Cato in trouble, drops the football, and it's picked up by the Stampeders, and Cordero Law has the recovery. Jagarrett Davis gets home for the third Calgary sack of the afternoon.
Well, and fourth in a game and a half for Jagarrett Davis off the top here. In the two-point stance, doesn't put his hand in the ground, just goes one-on-one on the fullback and tosses Rakeem Cato to the ground. Ball pops out.
Calgary came into the week tied for first in sacks, and that's the 50th surrendered by the Alouettes. Or Darryl Law returning to Calgary to make that front four even deeper. Now Mitchell under pressure, got it away, and there's another drop.
Wow. Just don't see it.
Anthony Parker.
Anthony Parker, wide receiver to the short side of the field. First of all, Mitchell avoids a sack there like he does so well, delivers it right to the spot between the 8 and the 6, and Anthony Parker just whiffs on it.
So Bo Levi Mitchell 7 for 9 in the game, and the 2 incompletions were flat out drops.
Yeah, bounced off the chest of the receivers.
2nd and 10. Double pumps, and he's gonna take the sack. Bear Woods bearing down, and he has his 4th sack of the season. So the Alouette defense doesn't bend after the offense turned it over.
Take a look at the delayed blitz from Bear Woods. He just almost spied Bo Levi Mitchell, and then when he saw his opening, he took it. Looked like there was coverage downfield that helped out with that sack. Bo Levi Mitchell wanted to get rid of it earlier and couldn't.
Maver drives it into the corner. He just missed as that ball goes out for a single point just into the end zone. So the defense does its job for the Owls.
Know-how.
Newest Alouette is Chad Bushy, an emergency call-up to handle long snapping duties with an injury to Martin Berard. With more, let's go to the sidelines and Jermaine Franklin.
Thanks, Chris. That's right. Jim Papa of the Alouettes was working the phones looking for a long snapper. Now, they did find Chad Bushley. He was in Cleveland. He played for Kent State. They basically gave him a call. He arrived in Calgary last night. They worked him out this morning, and obviously he got a passing grade. Now, he wasn't the only call they made. Randy Chevrier, longtime long snapper for the Stampeders, who has been out of work this season, was very close to snapping for the Alouettes as well. It would have been very interesting to see him snap against his old team.
Yeah, the Saskatchewan Roughriders needed one earlier this year. I think Randy should be like those rent-a-goalies. Just put out the shingle anytime anybody needs a long snapper. Just call Chevy. Logan having trouble with that handoff as he remains in at running back with the injury to Rutley.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Let's take a look and see who had the issue here. Now that ball was Rakeem Cato was the issue there. He just ball too high up in the shoulder pads. Maybe a slightly different size running back than Brandon Rutley. I got Rutley at 5'11" and Stefan Logan at 5'6". Got to get that ball down a little bit lower in the breadbasket, not up in the shoulder pad area.
2nd and 11. Set up the screen. Logan gets outside, and he's got a first down. And he'll step out around the 50-yard line as the Alouettes move the chains. Logan with his 6th catch this season.
Starts in the backfield, checks for blitz, and then releases on the screen. And he gets a nice block in front of him on Glenn Love. That gave him the edge and first down.
At the 49, they'll hand it to Logan. Bubbles it outside, and it's close to midfield.
They're having problems with this handoff. That was another one that it looked like there was a little bit of an issue between Rakeem Cato and Stefan Logan just getting it to him. Again, the running back is going to have his eyes down the field. He's got to be looking at where he wants to run, not where the ball is. And it's up to the quarterback to get it in the right spot.
Was that a little bit of a ride and decide, and maybe he thought about pulling it? Now down the sidelines deep, and there's Tommy Campbell making another defensive play against Duron Carter.
Just tracking Duron Carter so far. That's the 3rd attempt, and this is just up in his face press coverage Tommy Campbell just stepping up in there and saying, let's go and go for a run. He's been in his hip pocket so far tonight. Nice knockdown. Deron Carter hasn't quite been the same since he's been suspended.
Oh, watch Chad Bushy. Long snap to Boris Beatty. Jamal Nixon, the newcomer, waits. Pressure, and Beatty just got it away. This ball will tumble down inside the 20, and Nixon, momentum takes him out of bounds. Well, you know, this guy is not going to tolerate a slow start. In search of his own personal Canadian Football League record.
You know, one more win.
How about a record that's lasted 55 years?
That longest unbeaten streak, he passed Warren Moon 14 games without a loss. Last one was the first game of the season to the BC Lions, and has been bang on accurate here tonight. It hasn't been his fault.